Sooner or later, I'm going to be turning 49 years old. And in big letters, how have I made it this far? There's a lot of people that still to this day, even people that I've graduated with, probably are shocked to living, you know what, that I am still breathing with air through my lungs. And there's also a lot of people that are also proud of me. And you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you that you have decided to join in on this journey. This little side hobby that I'm doing. This side hobby I'm doing is called JJ Sessions, Jimmy Jam Sessions. I'm not sure exactly who, I don't know who made the name, but he's got a couple brain cells and they actually work. But in the case, I like doing different things of content, but mostly I always continue to brag and bark about, well, I'm still new at this. I'm still trying to do this, and that. Do I need another monitor? Do I try to do more graphic design and all this stuff like that? Do I need more input from my executive director, who I love very much, and my event planner too? He's actually a pretty good breakdancer too. But anyway, I still do, and we still do appreciate you. We say that a lot on this channel, and everybody. It's kind of a big thing in the entire world that we live in. I mean, we're not even saying thank you anymore. We're saying I appreciate you. We appreciate you. So if you're still enjoying the stuff that we're doing, there's a thing called a subscribe button. Hit that if you want to see more, hear more of, and be alerted of stuff that I decide to put out, whether it's here or a short. And also, if you like some of the stuff that I've been doing, whether it is a short or whether it's anything else, put a comment and throw a like, and that helps the channel out down the road, because we are very, very slowly growing to be something of, we're actually doing pretty good. Really, we're actually doing, for 7 months, I think we're doing okay. How about we do a video together? Because it's going to be kind of a fun thing. And, yeah, as always, let's go to work. Throw that intro up there. And as always, it is such a great thing to have you with us. As I always try to get myself situated and whatever. Nothing's ever perfect in this world. And as always, chuck a like, throw a comment in, but keep those subs coming, keep those views coming, because we've been doing some pretty good stuff in here, and I definitely enjoy kind of doing this little bit of a side hobby. Today I am representing Minnesota United. They call them the Loons. And Minnesota's been kind of a place where I kind of wanted to visit sometime. I almost wanted to work out there. And what do I got today? I've got both Vancouver jerseys up there. For whatever reason, I don't have a reason, but I'm running out of ideas trying to throw it up there. But I've got enough. So recently, I think it was First Take. It was First Take on ESPN. And they had a really, really good type of a discussion. And with the great ones, Molly Corm and Stephen A. Smith, and I think Dan Orlovsky, and I think Kendra Perkins did this topic. And I'm going to throw this out there. I don't want to make it and I know I say this, but I don't want to make it a totally long video. They asked a good question about what's the best time of sports. And there is a ton, depending on who you are and who you represent, best team, your favorite team, or whatever. Or say if you're a big fan of a certain sport, but you're not a fan of certain others. There's a lot of great things that people like sporadically all through the world actually go and see. For example, I will straight up and say hockey's my favorite sport, but I do like the NFL. Like going to watch baseball, not like watching on TV, but going to a baseball game. I have been to one NBA game, but it was a preseason game at Penn State. It was only like 7,000 people went. And I've gone to some soccer games here and there, but I've not really necessarily done a whole heck of a lot of other stuff, because in the last handful of years, things have changed. The times have changed. People have changed. We had a pandemic, and going to certain places was really hard. Travel was hard. I can say I'm not a big racing person. I mean, in central Pennsylvania, racing is kind of a big deal in the central PA part, mostly in different parts. But it's not. But it's never said it was a big NASCAR area, because I believe the only place around Pennsylvania is the Poconos, and they have that big NASCAR track. I believe Indy cars do that as well. But I've never been like a huge racing person. But that's also a big time of the year. From like February all the way down to October, November, it's NASCAR season. But everybody holds their breath for the middle part of February when the Daytona 500 hits. So do I say that's like a big time of the year if you're a racing fan? Well, it's kind of weird, because I'm not into, I know who some of the drivers are, but I'm not a major thing on the Super Bowl of NASCAR racing is the first race of the season. Tell me, literally, as a sports person, does that make any sense? To NASCAR people? Oh, sure it does. To the genuine sports fan, the Super Bowl should be the end of the year. Why is it the beginning? Well, I've done it for decades, so I can't say nothing. But it's Daytona, and I've driven past Daytona International Speedway, and that thing's massive. That thing's massive. I've driven to past Dover as well. But at the same time, I always look at some of the different things that's going down. This answer, I usually like to say this, there is no right or wrong answer, but they put a bunch of different time frames when they talked about this on ESPN's First Take, and none of them are a wrong answer. In general, let's just say one of the coolest things is actually going down. Is actually, of course, the NFL, because now the NFL is on 11th month season, and you have a little bit of a dead part after the Super Bowl. But back in the day, after the Super Bowl, you didn't hardly talk about anything NFL related until maybe the draft, and that was until like late April, early May. Now it is 11 months of free agency, rumors, articles, fake articles, online rumors and rumor mills, and the idiots that like to put stories out to see if, hey, we're going to get this guy. They're trying to work on getting this guy, and the teams have to deny this crap. And that's also a hard part of this world. You have to deny, and you have to hear all these stupid rumors going around about who did, about, well, I'm sorry, I don't remember saying that. And then it's a horrible thing in this world that there are people that get paid to put fake news on the internet, on the interweb, whatever it is. So, but I will say the NFL free agent time frame leading up to the draft, I mean, the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl, but in all honesty, the time frame between free agency and who gets moved where, who signs with where, leading up to the draft is a crazy time of the year. And if you're a fan, whether you're a fan of any team in the NFL, you could be bad, and then in a week, you could be back up there and be relevant. And that is a crazy time of the year. It always is. And of course, NFL is the biggest monopoly in sports. And you just talk about it 24/7. You talk about it 365 days a year, because something could happen. Something could happen while I'm doing this video. I think the three major things that they talked about was the NFL free agent market. They also talked about like comparing the best postseason. It's tough because the NFL is one and done, but the MLB baseball postseason is so crazy and so tight that they've changed the postseason so much, but you just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, heck, we all thought the Dodgers were going to win the World Series and end up beating the Rangers, and it was a low rated World Series because it was two markets that nobody knew a whole heck. Nobody talked about the Diamondbacks, and then it was the Rangers, and the Rangers won at 5. And packed their arenas and packed their ballparks every season for all that stuff, and it was such a big deal. And and the ratings sometimes go up. The ratings go up obviously if the big teams are in. The Houstons, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Phillies, obviously anything the big markets. Atlanta was always huge. The Mets try to get up there. St. Louis, when they had their dynasties going, they were pretty big because they run their teams just like the Patriots do. That's another good one, is the MLB. I will tell you right now, straight up, the Stanley Cup playoffs will always be up there. I don't care what anyone says, because every series is the best of 7. Try to beat one of those best teams. Try to beat them 4 times in 7 days. Somewhat. Good luck. But that's the best trophy in sports, next to the World Cup, in my personal opinion. Next to World Cup and next to probably the Lombardi Trophy, but it's the Stanley Cup. Hands down, that postseason. I don't care if you're not a hockey fan. Try living in a hockey player's mind during playoff time. One of the best ones, without question, is the time of the year. What is the best? And it's March Madness. I am one of the smartest people around because I did not fill a bracket out. I haven't filled a bracket out in 5 years because the times have changed and people change. The NIL, the transfer portal changes a lot. I mean, forever, it was always the Blue Bloods, the Kentuckys, the Kansas, the Dukes, the Carolinas, Michigan State, UCLA. And now it's turned around to Houston, Creighton, Gonzaga. I can't even remember who the other big ones are. I mean, Kansas is still, Kansas will always be a blue blood. Florida can be good at times. It's hit and miss with March Madness because you don't know if a 15 is going to beat a 2. And recently, in the last handful of years, there was that big trait. A 16's never beaten a 1 in ages. And it happened twice in 2 years. So there is that thing. There is the biggest phrase called one shining moment. And that's how you find from the tournament beginning from 68 teams all the way to the Final Four. And when they hold it in a football stadium, it is a crazy atmosphere. And you just don't know. And you've seen some of the best highlights, probably in sports, is college basketball set in a football stadium with about 50, 60, 70,000 when it's adjusted to circulate and put the court in the middle of the 50-yard line on a platform, on a rising platform. And one of your most memorables is obviously the 1983 Wolfpack beating Houston. And there's a handful of others, all the way leading to Villanova beating Carolina with the last-second three-pointer. So there's all these things. March Madness is just insane. You don't even have to be a fan. But every game, you just don't know. You don't know where half of these teams come from, and they'll knock off a 3 or a 2 seed, maybe even a 1. That is like one of the best things about it. And I'll throw a couple other things. What are the best times in sports? I mean, obviously, Triple Crown time, when you get the Kentucky Derby, you get the Preakness, and then you get the Belmont. If you're a horse racing fan or the big thing of horses, then that's one for you as well. Because you're always thinking, if they win the Kentucky Derby, if they win the second one, if they win the Preakness, then everybody watches the Belmont because they want to see a Triple Crown runner. And then obviously, of course, is every 4 years is either Olympics time or it's going to be the World Cup. And we'll have the World Cup again in a couple of years here in North America, where Canada, US, and Mexico will joint and have it. But nothing really beat 2 years ago when it was in Qatar. I literally watched one of the best finals, and that was Argentina versus France, and it was Messi versus Mbappe, and everything about that game was insane. And it ended up being Argentina winning their 3rd title, but it was cool to see Lionel Messi finally win a World Cup, because Kylian Mbappe's got his entire career ahead of him. But seeing Messi with the robe and just holding that trophy, and just with a grin as big as the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland, it takes that lift off your shoulders. Whether you're a soccer fan or not, whether you're a Messi fan or not, it was good to see him win one, and it was great. Now he's doing great things in Inter Miami. He's there for 3 years, and it builds it builds MLS. It really does. It's such a great story to see Messi winning that World Cup. And it does the same thing for the Champions League as well when they do that every year, because you're always focusing on the group stages. But when the final comes around and you find out it's on Fox or whatever, and you find out where it's at, and people will just focus on the Champions League final. It's such a great time of the year. But I think the three big ones, as I'll wind this thing down here, is definitely March Madness, the free agent time in NFL, and MLB, the postseason. But I throw the Stanley Cup final, or even postseason, I throw that in as probably a little bit of a wild card. But there's always others. If there's something else you remember off the top of your head that's actually one of the best times of the year, put a comment in, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. What's your best time of sports time? What's your best time of the year in sports? Throw that thing, throw your ID in. There's really not a wrong answer, because if you're a fan of something and fans of different things all over the world, it's you always are ready for something awesome to happen. That's one of the great things about the world. You just never know. And I think those three probably make it, but definitely the Stanley Cup Finals, a little bit of a wild card. And notice I didn't say anything about the NBA Finals. The ratings have been up and up. Ratings have been up and down, up and down. I really never said anything about the NBA. And I have that one video I did with the NBA earlier in the year, and it was like, it's okay. It's all right. The NBA is okay. Not that I hate it or anything, but throw a comment in. What do you particularly think is your favorite time of sports? I'm going to shut the bar down. And as always, I appreciate you hanging out for a little bit of a chat. Hit that like and subscribe button if you want to hear more of what's going on, what we're doing more, who's going to be coming on the podcast. We're definitely going to let you know down the road. And as always, as I say a lot, the bar is closed, and I do appreciate each and every single one of you bloody legends. We're going to do this again soon as I decide to take myself off and shut the bar down. Go find somewhere else to go. Talk to you guys later. Thanks again.